and child attacked on their way home from school. Casey Cronus is live outside of Orville Wright Elementary School with the very latest on this story. Casey, what can you tell us?
Hi, Sylvia. This video is heartbreaking to see. That woman, a 33-year-old, says she was walking her 9-year-old son home from school when they were jumped by a group of kids. And we need to warn you, the video is difficult to watch. We have frozen it before things escalate. Chicago police are now investigating after the woman named Korshonda and her son were viciously attacked near 106th and Bensley. That's just a couple blocks away from the elementary school. It happened yesterday shortly after dismissal. A group of kids approached them and started punching and kicking them. Korshonda says her son has been bullied at Wright and claims the administration has not done enough to protect him. Here's what happened yesterday in her own words.
So I asked my kids to come to the next side of the street with me so they wouldn't get jumped. So we kept walking. They followed us all the way there. And then they still fought us. They fought my son. They hit my son first, all in his face. Then they dragged me in the grass and pulled my little baby hair.
First and foremost, I want to give all honor, all praise, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. This is clearly a cursed generation. You know, our children, they don't respect, they don't respect parents, people that are older. Children they don't treat anybody with respect. And that's just the days that we're in, and this has got to be the final generation. Now, y'all saw what happened. It went viral, the last couple of days. And, yeah, man. And you wonder why these other nations, they look down on Jake. They treat you the way you treat yourself. All right. Jake is ruined. We're ruined as a people. And that's why the Lord, he just going to recover his remnant. Now, let me get a quick precept, because it tells you what would happen in the latter days. 2 Timothy 4. Yeah, 2 Timothy 3. 2 Timothy 3. And I'll just read the first verse and I'm going to just jump down to what applies. It says, "You should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times. For people will love only themselves and their money. They will be boastful and proud, scoffing at the Most High." And that's what's going on now. The elder from South Carolina, Menachem Zagba, he's constantly addressing the scoffing. You see, it's happening at a high level right now. But the warning was sent out that we're going to encounter these circumstances because we're in the latter days. It says, disobedient to their parents and ungrateful, they will consider nothing sacred. All right. So children don't respect their own parents because they'll go out there and embarrass them. But also, you got parents that are horrible at parenting. They're not watching over their children. They're not disciplining their children. They're being negligent and allowing basically the streets of society to craft them, turning them into Tyrone clones. Because that's basically what they become a product of when you don't instill, righteous instruction into them. It says, they will be unloving and unforgiving. They will slander others and have no self-control. It starts young, man. That's why you have to, discipline your children, or they will be out of control. Scriptures say A horse, a horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful. So when somebody's willful, they feel like they have the freedom to roam around and do what the hell they want without fear of discipline, consequences. So they have no self-control. That's these little monsters out here, these little nigglets roaming around in the streets of these different cities. You know, that happened on the south side of Chicago. It's not good, man. And Jay got to do better, having all these litter of children, and ain't even able to raise them. So now you're just raising a bunch of useless children. All right, the scriptures say this. This is Sirach 16 in the G&T. It says, a large family is nothing to be desired if the children are worthless. Godless children are nothing to be proud of. No matter how many children you have, don't look on them with pride unless they fear the Lord. Don't put much hope in their future or expect them to live a long time. And all them little monsters, all right, them little gremlins, with that kind of behavior, you can just tell. And that's in Southside Chicago. Them little niggas, they're not gonna live a long time. It's only a matter of time. You know, get themselves caught up in something because their parents didn't train them right. Usually it's, you know, they're coming up in a single mother home because the nuclear family has been broken since the 60s. So they usually don't have a father at home to raise them right and instruct them and discipline them. You know, they're not getting the proper balance of discipline and nurturing. You know, and they end up, she focused on herself and her own desire and happiness. So she, you know, throwing the children on her mama, their grandmother, so she can go out and do her whatever she's doing, run the streets, you know, leaving them at school because, you know, they'd rather be alone. They don't want to have time with their children. So you're raising them up to basically live short lives. You had that one woman. She was the mother of one of those rappers out there in Chicago. FBG Duck, I think was his name, his rap name. You know, and he had other siblings, and majority of them are all dead. He ended up killed. And several siblings were all killed. And this woman decided to stay in that neighborhood, knowing that neighborhood was taking most of her children out. And she wanted to, you know, she wanted all this sympathy from people. No, take accountability. You decide to leave them in that environment. And you, as a mother, did not do a good job. Having all these children and letting the streets raise them. And then you yourself is a product of the environment too. So just imagine the cycle that it breeds. And these men, they have no fucking self-control. To keep putting seed in these worthless ass, you know, hood roaches, man. Jay have no standards whatsoever, no dignity. Seating up these bras in the hood. So they do it to themselves, and this is what they bring forth as a result. It says, one child who does the Lord's will is better than 1,000 who do not. It is better to go to your grave with no children at all, to have children. It's like you at all than to have children who are godless. And this is a godless generation, man. This generation here, man, they on some weird timing, man. A lot of sociopaths They have no home training, no respect. Just crash out on a sudden. Teenagers robbing elderly people in broad daylight. It's sick, man. When I was younger, we had a bit of character, man. We had code. We respected elders. We respected adults when we were children. We go and help the old lady with her groceries, to our house or our apartment. She'll give us a couple of dollars. Well, now kids are going and go and snatch it out of her hands and go put hands on her and take it from her and run up the block. That's this generation now. It wasn't like that when I was a kid. Yeah, sure, you had bullying. That's always been a thing. But nowadays, oh my goodness. So, yeah, man. And Jake wonder why the world don't respect them. Now, what law would actually, if this was actually in place, because the scriptures say, because the law slack and judgment never go forth, judgment, wrong judgment proceedeth, and the wicked compass the righteous. So you got a lot more people that are wicked than are righteous because, there's no enforcement of the Most High's law. That if you was to lay down his law, it would put away all this evil. So this is, you already know where I'm going. Deuteronomy 21. And y'all don't never seem to have an issue with this law. But when we go to the next chapter over, right? And we go down to the 28th, 29th verse, then, you're stomping your feet. Deuteronomy 22 and 18, it says, suppose a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who will not obey his father or mother, even though they discipline him. This is in the NLT. In such a case, the father and mother must take the son to the elders as they hold court at the town gate. The parents must say to the elders, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious and refuses to obey. He is a glutton and a drunkard. He doesn't want to do anything. He's just lazy. He doesn't want to be proactive. He doesn't want to, work. He wants to be idle, right? He's embarrassing the family. Then all the men of his town must stone him to death. In this way, you will purge this evil from among you, and all Israel will hear about it and be afraid. And it was a reason why these type of punishments would be public, because it would make everybody around fear that, they can come up under that same judgment if they behave in the same manner. There's no more public, discipline or public justice, So, you let these kids grow up and they're disrespectful towards you. They don't respect your authority. And then you got to sit back because, CPS is evaluating everything. So it's like you can't even discipline them how you would want to discipline your children on this side. So that's why we got to wait for the kingdom. At least when these demons, these little demons are born into the kingdom, they're going to be born into the new covenant. So they're going to be righteous. But right now they're born with an evil nature. And that's where you have to discipline them. I think it's what's the scripture that says foolishness is bound in a child, but you got to discipline them. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Proverbs 22:15, it says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. All right. They're given to evil from their youth. So you got to be the one to drive it away from them with correction. with that rod, man. And you can't wait till they, 12 years old, 13 years old, where now they got strength. They can take your hits. They can snatch your belt from you. Then what you gonna do? So yeah, this was horrible. And that woman, she had sickle cell. So that's why she was behaving. She was reacting in a strange manner because she had a medical condition as they were attacking her. Them kids did not care. Jumped on her son. And then I think she even had another little girl with her that was even smaller, man. She probably was looked to be around 5 years old. And she got to stand there and see all that. And if I'm not mistaken, man, when you see the real footage, I think she was even being attacked. So those kids is traumatized, along with Eve right here. Well, just that whole neighborhood is a cursed neighborhood because hey, Jake is under the curse. Curse shall you be in the city. But there's no no excuses for this type of behavior. So their parents need to be dealt with, and all the children need to be dealt with. Because to be frankly, man, there's no telling what you would do in a situation in the moment, but I'm not about to play about mine. All right, and when you see the original footage, there was no man in sight. There was no adult male in sight. Think of what would have changed if had there been an adult male presence, a grown man. It wouldn't have went down like that. I don't believe. A couple of them little kids would have got hurt, and the rest of them, they would have scattered. So this is why you got to have, men in the house, man. Anyway, let me end on that note. Hopefully y'all edified. Let me give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And until the next lesson, Shalom.